Learn about how your local chapter of the American Red Cross is using 2,200 pounds of turkey and 1,800 pounds of ham this Christmas Day. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Villa Romana, Italian restaurant on South Kings Highway in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 15th annual Christmas Day dinner sponsored by the American Red Cross. And we're visiting with Jeanne Carmichael, the Executive Director of Horry County's chapter. Good morning, Jeanne.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Thanks so much for getting in. How exciting. And now to know we're less than 80 hours.
It's around the corner and we're ready. We are geared up for this 15th annual Christmas Day dinner. It's amazing that 15 years have passed, and to see this Christmas dinner grow the way it has been a tremendous experience for us.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited.
Jeanne, I think I saw that you joined the Red Cross as a volunteer 15 years ago. Is there any coincidence that this is the 15th annual dinner?
The very first dinner started after Hurricane Hugo, and the volunteers that spent many, many weeks feeding people had formed that bond and relationship that they wanted to continue it at Christmas time. And if you remember, if you were here, it snowed 15 inches. So they had about a dozen volunteers make it to the church, and about that many people came. But they had a great time. And the next year they did it, and it just grew and grew and grew every year. Many of our disaster volunteers help, but a lot of people who come down just for a few months in the wintertime like to do something, give back to the community they enjoy over the holidays. They come and eat, and they come and help, and they come and cook all of this food.
It's amazing. So tomorrow and Wednesday,
yes,
folks are going to be at the convention center, the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, putting together all the service.
That's right. Simple Elegance and the convention center. That's a wonderful facility. We've been cooking there for many, many years. They have all the equipment we need to cook 2,200 pounds of turkey, 1,800 pounds of ham. This is a gourmet, chef-produced meal, and volunteers are needed tomorrow, 9 o'clock at the convention center. We do need more people. We'll be going on from about 9 to 5. Wednesday, we'll start again at 9 and until we're done, and then feed that meal on Christmas Day from 1 to 4.
Now, could potential volunteers just show up, or would they need to call the Red Cross ahead of time?
We'd like it if they could call us today or tomorrow at 477-0020. Let us know where they can help, what they would like to do.
Okay.
That helps us coordinate everybody's efforts.
Now, let's talk about how the food gets from the convention center to the 3 locations. There's Blaine United Methodist Church in Myrtle's Inlet. There's First Presbyterian Church in Myrtle Beach, and is it...
And the Whittemore Park Middle School in Conway is our third site. Now, that food that's cooked on Tuesday, Wednesday, is on Christmas Day taken by vans through our volunteers to these sites. And each site has a kitchen where they can keep it warm and serve it to the people that come. And we also deliver, volunteers take meals out to about 1,000 people.
Is that right?
So a lot of meals are taken out. We also have volunteers that will pick up people who don't want to drive, can't drive, and they want to come and enjoy the entertainment. Lots of entertainment going on. They decorate the hall so nicely, and that's things that volunteers like to do. So we will pick up people and bring them to one of those 3 sites.
How many folks will you expect at the 3 different locations? Is there any way to gauge? Did you have it at the same 3 locations last year?
Yes.
Okay.
This will be our 3rd year to have it at those 3 locations. We probably will have the food to those locations in the morning, and those takeout meals will be, I think, prepared and ready to go by 11 o'clock from those 3 sites, because we'll have volunteers from Blaine taking them out to the south end, maybe even as far into Georgetown as Georgetown, and then the Conway, Loris, Ainer area, the volunteers deliver out there. And we do have a few spots in Myrtle Beach. We'll be delivering the meals there, too.
Right. So from the 3 locations, all the food will be shipped to the 3 locations, and none will be driven out from the convention center.
All the food is prepared at the convention center and taken to those 3 locations, yes.
How exciting, Jeanne. This is amazing.
Well, the pictures, if you haven't been there or haven't seen the pictures, when you see whole turkeys, racks and racks of whole turkeys, it's an amazing sight.
Oh, yeah.
and those volunteers are cutting and fixing coleslaw, and they do the sweet potatoes really in a fancy way. We're still looking for donations of desserts. We can use all the desserts. If there's businesses and restaurants out there that might have some desserts, we like to have lots of those available for those that come.
Now, could they just bring the desserts to the convention center in the next couple of days, or again,
sure,
would they need to
they
call
can
the
bring
Red
them
Cross? Right.
to the convention center on Tuesday and Wednesday, or they can bring them to one of the 3 sites on Christmas Day.
Okay.
We'll be there starting at 9 o'clock on Christmas Day at those 3 places.
Now, what's it like for Jeanne Carmichael over the next 80 hours getting ready? I mean, are you able to be at all of, I guess
well,
you're at
you know,
somehow
I'm not the organizer. You know, here I'm an executive director, but that's what is so neat about the Red Cross. It's the volunteers who organize and plan and run this operation.
Right.
Janice Ash, Janice Sattel, Mark Rabicki. There are 3 key organizers. Mark is a chef at the convention center with Simple Elegance, and they make it happen by starting 3 or 4 months out, planning all of this. And we have coordinators at each of those 3 sites that volunteers can call to say, I'm ready at this time to do this. And it's a big committee. We're just so thankful. I mean, we couldn't do this without volunteers, of course.
Right.
Of course, we couldn't do it without key sponsors like Coastal Federal Bank as a sponsor this year. And again, Time Warner Cable. They have been sponsors many, many years.
Yes.
They make this happen for us. We need to raise $8,000 to $10,000 to put this on. We get turkeys and hams at a discount, but it's still a lot of food, a lot of paper products. It does cost some money to do it.
Is there still any more room? I mean, have you all raised all the funds, or is there more room for donations?
Not quite yet. We're still needing to raise a couple more $1,000.
Is that right? Okay.
And we're hoping, if you want to feed a family of 4, $15 donation will help to feed that family of 4. So they can send the donation, bring them to the church, or send them to the Red Cross office.
Right. Okay. And again, they could call to get the address there, and that's 843-477-0020.
That's right.
Is this something that happens in other communities, Jeanne, or is this just indicative of the Grand Strand?
Well, I know other communities do put on a Christmas Day dinner.
Right.
I haven't heard of one at the scale as large as ours is, with delivered meals and bringing people in and 3 sites. We actually made national news on the Red Cross website 2 or 3 years ago because there was no other Red Cross that did this. And I talked to Red Cross people all over the country, and they're still amazed, saying, how do you do that? How do you get volunteers? Well, we almost have more volunteers than we can use on that day. We panic on Monday, today, when we're going, we don't have enough volunteers. But my prayers are always answered. People come and show up and enjoy the festivities with us. It's an amazing sight.
How exciting. Well, of course, you know the bulk of our viewers are in the PD and in southeastern North Carolina. Obviously, there's Red Cross chapters throughout that area, and surely the commitment of being spurned by Hugo back in 88, 89, I mean, at that time to give the encouragement to mobilize, surely set the stage for this to be an annual superstar event. That's fantastic. What are some of the other things going on during the holidays, Jeanne?
Well, right now, today, through Friday, through Monday and Tuesday, we are giving out gifts to the fire children, children that suffered a fire during this past year. So there's over 100 of these children that our volunteers are taking gifts to these families, or the families come to us. We're giving out turkeys and a full meal, which are the dried goods and canned goods. Through Chikura Realty, they packaged all this up so we can take poinsettias, turkeys, food, along with the Christmas gifts for the families. So that's what we're busy doing right now. It is a busy time in fire. We had 3 fires just last night. We average 8 to 10 fires a month, and that's what we call our silent disaster. People don't hear about that. And the Red Cross assists these families with their emergency needs. That's a place to stay, clothing on their back, groceries, could be medication. Occasionally it's funeral expenses. But on the average, it's $750 to $1,000 per family that gets them back on their feet so they can start recovering. We were very fortunate recently, full steam ahead, Fire and Water Restoration gave a significant donation to the Red Cross to help. We'll be able to help 5 or 6 families with this donation, and that just helps us go week by week, and so that community support is so vital to us. Military-wise is busier during the holidays. I just sent off a message today about a birth, which is a good news. But we do send a lot of messages about illnesses and family emergencies that happen. So that goes on 24 hours a day.
And you say military-wise, you mean communicating with military personnel around the world?
That's right. What the military has asked the Red Cross to do is to be their emergency communication system, because we have that worldwide network. And if there is a serviceman on a ship or in Iraq or anywhere in the world, and there's an emergency with their family here in our community, the family members or the doctor, coroner, they contact the Red Cross, and we send that message across to the servicemen. So we have trained volunteers who do that. We help with military aid assistance. We just had a serviceman yesterday come in because he missed his flight back to Korea, and we had to get him another ticket. So that's the type of work we do with the military.
That is fantastic. Is the Red Cross busier during the holidays, Jeanne?
Well, unfortunately, there are more fires. We average 8 to 10 a month, and last December we had 34 families experience a fire. We've already had over 10 just in December of this month. So it is busier. Whether it's heat or electrical causes of fire, we're not always real sure. It just happens more in these colder months. So we especially need the support of the community to help us provide that service and continue to provide that service. We're not a government-funded agency. We depend on donations to continue that work.
Well, I saw over the summertime, the Sun News kicked off a big push to really help out the Red Cross this summer. It was an amazing push.
Yes.
Can you share with that?
Yes, it was the beginning of a Heroes program.
Right.
The New Car Dealers Association made a $5,000 donation during that challenge. We had Coastal Federal do Red Cross Dollar Day on Friday, raising close to $1,500. We have actually the Heroes program kicking off March with Brad Dean as our chair, and you'll be hearing more about that. It's a wonderful way of people who, your average person who can give back to the community and wants to do something special. And we're excited that Brad Dean has agreed to chair that.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
Brad is a spectacular community servant.
He is.
Really giving back quite a bit.
He is.
He did a lot with us for the Heart Association this year as co-chair of the Heart Walk. What are some of the aspects of the American Red Cross that either people don't know about, Jeanne, or that many people would take for granted?
Well, sure. Most people think about blood, and yes, blood is a big part of the Red Cross. And believe it or not, this community only collects about 70% of the blood needed by our hospitals. So we're an import county. We need more people to give blood. And WPDE did a wonderful blood drive yesterday, on the 17th, I'm sorry. But it's community, businesses, and individuals out there that can help give blood, help provide that need. Of course, disaster work, people know about that, and the military assistance. What they don't know is that we also do CPR first aid classes. We bring our instructors and our equipment to businesses or to schools and provide that type of training. Lifeguard training. All the lifeguards in Myrtle Beach are Red Cross trained lifeguards. The other thing that's providing a lot of service is our resource directory. The Horry County Resource Directory this year, this 8th edition, we printed 12,000 copies. That was made possible by Waccamaw Community Foundation, the United Way of Horry County, and Chicora Rotary Club helped pay for the printing. So there's no advertising in it. It's a free publication, and it's for senior citizens, for disabled folks, families and children with needs. It's close to 400 services here in Horry County, and it's a directory where they can quickly look up what those services, where those services are, and have a phone number, a description, get all the information they need.
Right.
We do also have directories for Georgetown County and Williamsburg County through the Caregiver Advocate program, and that's a federal grant that the Red Cross was asked to administer. All this information is also on our website. If people would go to the Red Cross website, you don't need the www, just type in Horry County as one word, .redcross.org, and it comes up to our home page, and the words resource directory are right there. Click on it, and they can actually search out words like wheelchairs, oxygen, alarms, whatever the service is they're looking for, They click on that keyword, it will bring up the agencies or the businesses providing that service. It will translate it to 8 different languages. It will do a map through MapQuest from their house to the business they're looking for.
Right.
So it's an online service that people now are starting to use and see how useful it is.
That is fantastic. What a benefit of being associated with an international group that provides a great base for services like that.
Yeah, we're real excited. That online service we can update daily as changes occur. The hard copy, which again is free, and people can find it at any senior center, any library, public library, and Chapin Library. They can come to the Red Cross, and if you're a business, we can give you several copies of it. But again, it's there for people to get into the hands of the people that need it. So people can call us if they're needing that copy.
Right. Real quick about yourself, Jeannie. How long have you been in the area, and when did you become the executive director? I think I saw you've been with the Red Cross 15 years now, but I think it was 32 years as a nurse.
Oh, you're right. Now I have to count it. In 71. My husband and I moved here to Myrtle Beach from Peoria January 1st of 88. So it has been 15 years. And I became a volunteer as a CPR instructor, and that just fit naturally being a nurse. And they had an opening to help with disaster services. The executive director then, Ron Ward, asked if I would consider that, and I really did enjoy that emergency, and it had similar qualities to working as a nurse. So in 93, I became a paid staff, and then in the end of 97, became executive director.
How exciting. Some of the aspects of being the executive director, of course, this county is so dang large.
It is.
Being able to serve the entire county, and of course talking about when you've got a fire in Surfside, you've got a fire coming up in Aner. I mean, this serving a large area. You're able to get out a good bit? I know you said the volunteers really drive the American Red Cross.
Well, believe it or not, this county is 1,225 square miles, and that is big. We have 4 disaster action teams. These are volunteers that are trained to respond to feeding firemen or respond to the family in writing out dispersing orders so they can have a place to stay, have clothing for their family. They cover a specific area in the county, so none of our volunteers have to travel too far. And we need more volunteers on these disaster action teams. We call them DAT teams. We have a meeting January 6th with these team members. These are the folks that take the call when we transfer our phones at 4:30 from the office to a live voice, and it's volunteers handling the disasters during the evening time, in the night. We have volunteers handling the military calls also in the evening time. So we have 5 paid staff and 650 volunteers. Red Cross could not do what we do without our volunteers.
You said 650 volunteers here in Horry County.
Yes.
That is spectacular.
We're needing more.
Absolutely. You pointed out the day of Christmas, and 3 days from now you will have probably enough volunteers expectedly out there, both driving to locations for people who need meals, as well as picking people up to bring them to the 2 churches and the middle school. But over the next 72 hours, there's a little fear that you may not have enough.
Yes. Please call us.
Okay.
And if you can't call us, come to the convention center tomorrow or Wednesday. Come to one of those 3 sites. That's Blaine United Methodist Church, the First Presbyterian Church, that's around 12th Avenue North in Myrtle Beach, or the Whittemore Park Middle School, that's in Conway. But we will take your name and number. If you can call us today, Tuesday, that would be great.
Right. Of course, if folks just showed up there at 1 o'clock, any time between 1 and 4 at either of the 3 locations, now would they have had to get in touch with you ahead of time?
No.
Or just show up?
Just show up. Come eat.
And some of the folks who may be showing up, Jeannie, that ranges from...
It's a variety of people who move down or just for vacation come to our community for maybe 2 or 3 months from Canada, from up north. They're getting away from the snow, and they're not with their family. They want to feel the Christmas spirit. This is a wonderful way of doing that, giving back to our community. We do have a lot of volunteers, regular disaster volunteers that help with it. Again, they like to feel that Christmas spirit. It's a wonderful event, great entertainment, wonderful decorations. They do a good job with it.
Jeanne, what would be the biggest need for somebody, for a volunteer? Would it be to help prepare food over the next couple of days, or to actually drive on Christmas Day?
Right now, we see our biggest need is at the convention center. We need more volunteers to call or come tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Okay, tomorrow at 9 or Wednesday at 9.
Yes.
And obviously at any of those locations on Christmas Day itself.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Fantastic. Of course, you talked about so many of the aspects that folks either take for granted or just aren't aware of. And, of course, blood donation. When you said we're an import county, and 70% of the blood needed in the county is actually drawn in the county, where does the other 30% come from?
From other communities. I mean, we have, it's a network across the country, and there are laboratories that, when we collect blood here, it has to be tested. It has to go through, I think it's up to 10 or 11 required tests, so that unit of blood will be safe and ready to go where it's needed. The shelf life of blood is 42 days. So there are times of the year when people, like right now, they have a flu. Not enough is collected. Well, hopefully a month ago, when people were healthier, that blood that's been tested, ready to go on the shelf, that blood type that's needed will be sent to that site. But our hospitals, I mean, we have 4 hospitals now, and there's a big need for blood. So we're right now collecting about 70%.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Do you all have blood drives on a regular basis? You talked about one last week with the WPD helps
That's
sponsor.
right, yes. They can go to the Red Cross website to see when those blood drives are. They can call our chapter office or the blood service office, and their number is 839-4483.
Okay.
And people can go right to that site around 77th
Avenue North, Kings
North.
Highway in Myrtle Beach.
That's
sure.
right.
That's a great
and they
location
can go there,
up
too.
there. Jeannie, I think I saw in reading about the Horry County chapter that the chapter's disaster plan is a model for the 9-state region surrounding South Carolina, or the Carolinas, that 9-state region. And you also serve on the state disaster plan review board. What are some of the aspects of the disaster plan here in Horry County that have really been modeled in other areas?
Well, this plan is it's an ongoing plan. It constantly has to be evaluated, reviewed, changed. We were fortunate in getting the template that other chapters felt comfortable in using, that plan has been sent out to many states. Right now, chapters across the country are working at being prepared for bioterrorism type activities. We call them weapons of mass destruction. The Red Cross has a training center in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, called the Clara Barton Center. The very first day it was scheduled to have training was on 9/11, which was real scary. Jennifer Smith, who was with our chapter as our Director of Emergency Services, was the first in that class, and she is now a national employee as our state disaster specialist, so we're very proud of her. But myself and our new Director of Emergency Services are being scholarshiped to go there in January. I've never been there, but we're the 2 planners for our community, so we will have that week-long training, and very excited about learning more and how to be prepared.
Jeannie, I don't know how the Red Cross does it all. We talk about CPR, thinking about first aid, all the aspects of blood donation, surely providing services for fire victims, to think about disaster relief, as well as serving up to 2,500 people in 72 hours. How does the Red Cross do it all?
We're only the vehicle. It's the volunteers, like 130 CPR and first aid instructors or lifeguard instructors. They're out in our community. Right. Those 250 disaster volunteers, that's the force of the Red Cross. We're just a vehicle that helps those volunteers get back to their community and help people with the emergency needs they have.
If you had, we've got a little less than 3 minutes, Jeannie, if there was the most important aspect as we enter 2004 and think about some of the aspects that the Red Cross, some of the severe needs of the Red Cross right now, would financial be one of the biggest ones?
Well, that's a concern for every Red Cross chapter and every nonprofit right now. Our economy, I think, is picking up. What a lot of people don't realize, we're different than most charities in that we don't have volunteers at soup lines. These volunteers are specially trained. That takes time, expertise, money to do that. Free training for them, but there is an expense. We have 24-hour communication. There's cost for that too. But we can't tell a family, I'm sorry, we don't have the donations, we can't help you. Other charities sort of have that option. We don't. We're mandated by Congress to raise the funds needed, and that's through donations. So we'll be out there talking to businesses and individuals and services that maybe can be donated to help us to continue to provide these services.
Folks can call your office to get the location to send donations.
Yes.
Or they could go online as well.
Right.
That's horrycounty.redcross.org. Okay.
And we'll be happy to send out our most recent newsletter. It has our annual report. We do every year an external audit, and it showed that our general and administrative management costs were only 9% of our budget. So that's outstanding.
Is that right? Only 9%?
Yes.
Golly, Jeannie, that's a huge commitment.
So a lot is put into the programs and services that we do.
If you can't be there tomorrow, get out there on Wednesday. That's the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Help prepare some meals. Up to 2,500 area residents will be there on Christmas Day at one of 3 locations. Call the Red Cross today, 843-477-0020, or show up at Blaine United Methodist Church in Murrells Inlet, First Presbyterian Church in Myrtle Beach, or Whitmar Park Middle School in Conway to get a Christmas Day dinner, the 15th annual. Thanks so much, Jeannie, for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Jeanne Carmichael and all the amazing staff and volunteers of the American Red Cross for making today's Carolina People and this Christmas Day so special.